Let's see. Let's see if everything is working the way it's supposed to. Do do do. Do do do. Firing up this here stream. Gonna do a quick check to see that everything is functioning the way it's supposed to. And that's right, people. Firing up this here stream. Gonna do a quick check to see that everything is functioning the way it's supposed to. And that's right. There we go. I was looping myself. I'm gonna make sure that I'm not looping myself. So, hello everyone. I'm gonna do a quick rundown here of audio levels. How do you feel about my voice compared to the music? Is the music too loud? Is the music not loud enough? Also, I gotta fire up my very professional live streamer flashlight in my face. Can't do live streaming without having a flashlight in your face. There we go. Now you can see me in all my yellow glory. Oh, let's see. That's very yellow. Let's see if we can change that. Now I'm more of a blue. I think this is nicer. This is nicer. I like this one. Alright, the music is a bit loud. Gotcha. We can fix that. Now, let's see. Is the music better now? Is this better? I've cranked the music down about as low as I can. I can put it lower if I need to. Okay. Gotcha. Desktop audio needs to go lower. Now, this might be a bit too low, actually. I might have to turn the music up a slight bit on my end. Alright. So we're just, you know, we're fiddling with stuff here. I haven't live streamed before on this YouTube channel. I've only done, like, live streaming on Twitch at select occasions a couple of years ago. So, just gotta make sure that everything is up and running the way it's supposed to. There we go, there we go. Now, obviously, I'm going to try to interact with chat as much as possible. But if y'all are too chatty, I might not catch everything. Rating things on the Discord, like Coli. Maybe, just not today. Because today I'm going to try to draw a comic. So that's going to, like, be my focus on actually getting into some comic drawing. Okay. So, I don't... let's see. Should say hello to some people. I see a lot of people in the chat. Fredfish, Zarek, and Vita. Pup Goers Empire. Sphinxen, Yellow Hexagon. Gab Tinte, Biodegradable. Oh my god, there's too many people. I can't say hello to everyone. I will, however, say hello to Bio. Because he's been on the podcast. That means he's better than you. No. And I will also say hello to Official Moffe. Because, you know, he came in second in the last Polandball art contest on the Polandball art subreddit. So he helped out with voting in this latest contest that just concluded. So we have a new contest winner for the Polandball art subreddit. We did a contest of just making comics in black and white. You can go visit the subreddit and check that out. That's pretty rad. But let's get to drawing, shall we? So, I'm just gonna make sure when I open stuff up here that you can't see my browsers and folders and stuff. I clicked on a thing. I gotta have to wait for stream replay. Okay, perfect. You cannot see my my pop-ups. That's good. I don't want you to be able to see my my folders. You might see some stuff that you're not supposed to see that I would have a hard time explaining to people. So I am going to pull up my standard template. Let's see if I can find... Do I have that as an XCF file? Yeah, standard comic template. There we go. Swoop. So, as you can see here, this is how I start when I draw in GIMP. I just have my typical panel that I use to draw comics is 500 times 800 pixels. So I just have this big old template of like just depending on how much I need. I'll change this up if I'm not doing standard paneling, but if I am doing standard paneling, it's just nice to not have to redo this from scratch every time I make a new comic. So I see that I have, oh nice, flag of Brazil and flag of USA. I had these in the background. That's actually funny because those are the two countries that I'm going to be using in this comic. I might have like added these with the idea of drawing this comic back in the day, but never did. So I'm going to start by doing a new layer. Boom. And this layer is just going to be a rough outline of the storyboard. So I'm just going to use like a 1 pixel red pen or something to sort of just get an idea of what I'm going for. So the idea we're going for here is we're going to have like a cave opening, something like that. And then we're going to have a horizon. With some city ruins. Oh, look at that. Oh no, everything has gone to hell. And a country ball. Boom. That is peeking out of this cave opening. And we're having a pair of sunglasses here, so you can probably figure out who this is. There. Now you can see the sunglasses much more clearly. We can add like some more wreckage here, more busted city. Here, some more houses, sure, whatever. And then we can have a sunrise or sunset behind it. Something here, maybe, yeah. And then we can do some nice light emanating from that. We can do some cool lighting effects. Have some. Here we can have like a little edge here, and we can have some hills and some terrain and whatnot. Something like that. Now let's just use the eraser. Actually, not an eraser. I'll just use a... No, let's use the eraser. That's probably better. And scratch some stuff that otherwise would be in the way, so that it's clearer. No, not that. What we're actually looking at. Okay, so that's gonna be our panel 1. Kinda neat. Then panel 2, we're gonna do the same scene, but seen from the other side. So we have a horizon about here. Hey, 100% opacity. Why did I change my opacity settings? I don't know how that happened. My mouth is delayed compared to my voice. Really? Okay, so there's an audio lag. That is tricky. That might be a bitrate issue. Let's see if I can lower the bitrate. Strange. Alright. Alright, so yeah, we're not doing white backgrounds on this one. We're doing an actual comic with backgrounds and stuff. It's the face cam. It's the face cam. Okay. So I'm gonna have to go into my webcam settings here. Set to 30 FPS. 30 FPS? Why am I not on 60 FPS? That's bullshit. Doesn't seem like I can. I don't know. It's gonna take me a while to troubleshoot and figure out like why there's a lag on my cam. I'm probably gonna do that off camera. We're gonna have to live with this for the stream. Cool. DR DickRhino? No! That's just DickRhino twice. I'm not DR DickRhino, I'm just DickRhino. Silly goose. My voice isn't loud enough. Really. I'm not sure if I can do anything about that. Because I have it cranked up to like maximum. Other than just, you know, having the microphone even closer to my mouth, but that's unpleasant. Does anyone else think that my mic is too low? Just want to know. Just want to know. We're setting everything up here. So, first time streaming on YouTube. Some audio levels are gonna need some finagling and fidgeting to get everything to where it's supposed to be. Can't hear the music. Is the music too low now? Should I increase the volume a bit on the music? We shall see what people say. Just want to know what people's opinions are on the volume for the music. But no one's saying anything. How rude. I'm out here asking for feedback and I'm not getting any feedback. Alright, I'll keep drawing while I wait for some feedback. So, we're gonna have... no, I don't like that. This is a better outline. Yeah. That's a better outline for a mountain. And then we have cave opening here. Something like that. Alright. Can't hear the music. Let's crank that up then. Let me know if the music is too loud or if it's good. Let's see. Let's do some mountainy things here. Yeah. Okay. Some nice lines. That's how you know it's a mountain, because it's got some lines on it. That's what separates mountains from not mountains. And then we have the country ball here. Oh no. I'm not using an ad blocker, so I'm getting ads on this. This is bullshit. I hate that. I'm gonna have to be on top of that. Ew. Still can't hear any music. I don't know, man. Here we go. I am from Stockholm, our wonderful capital city. And we're gonna have to have some busted houses here. Oh, there's no busted. Oh no, busted. Apocalypse. Ruins. Ah. Everything has gone to hell. What happened? Who knows? We can have some nice little clouds. Some nice little clouds in the sky. People like those. Yeah. Something like that. Some more destruction. Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think that looks sort of like what we're after here. And then we can remove some of these superfluous lines. And yeah, like so. Okay, cool. So that's gonna be our panel 2. And then we're gonna go back inside the cave for panel 3. So we can see the cave opening from a slightly different angle here. We can do it like this. And then you can sort of see the horizon over here. Maybe put a bit of a more arc on the horizon, something like that. And some cave lines. Yeah, it's a mountain, so you gotta have lines. That's how that works. And you can still see the busted city over here. Ooh, destruction. Oh no. Oh, apocalypse. And now in this panel, USA will be more of the focal point. He has turned away from the destruction. He's no longer looking at it. Now he's looking inward to the cave again. Yeah. And there we go. Gotta do them glasses. That's how you know it's USA. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Fill that in. Uh-oh. That wasn't connected. That could have ended badly, but we saved it. And then we're also going to have a recording device. Here. Let's see. Let's get the angle right. Maybe something like this, so you can see nicely what it is. And then we're gonna remove this line here. We're gonna remove this line here. And we're gonna draw in that typical, like, sort of you know, 2 discs with a thing to show that it's a recording device. Yeah. And it's got the little thing with buttons. And you got like 1 button that's been pressed down. I'll figure out like what that's supposed to look like. Something like that. Something like that is what it's supposed to look like. Yep. And everyone will be able to figure out that that's a recording device. Simple. That's how you do it. Cool. Now we have our first 3 panels. Now we're gonna draw a side shot here of the cave. Maybe something like this. A bit of an angle on this cave wall. And then we have USA here. And he's looking at another country ball here. And that's gonna be good old Brazil. Yeah. There we go. And I might use like a beat panel here. Which means I might want this to be like a copy. Potentially. Because I like, maybe I'll redraw it, maybe I'll reuse the assets, or at least use the background if the camera shot is gonna stand still. Then I'll redo the country balls, but potentially reuse the background. So we're gonna copy that. Nope. And we're gonna use that for the next panel as well. And maybe I'll even use it a 3rd time. I have to think. Yes, I will. Because I think that's the comic. I think that's the comic in a nutshell. Now let's see. Paste as new layer in place. Here we go. No, that didn't work. Undo, undo, paste. Now we're gonna have to redo this. So we're gonna select this. Oh, I know why it didn't work. I did a Dumbo. People. It's always a bit tricky when you work with layers like this. Because now I have, this is the pasted layer. I wasn't on that layer when I did my copy thing. So it didn't copy correctly. Amateur hour, people. Amateur hour. What are we even doing here? Any of us, really? What are we even doing here? There. Boom. So we're gonna merge these down. So we only have one layer with our storyboard. Yeah. Yeah. But now we have it. Now we have our storyboard, people. So now we can get to the fun part, which is drawing a comic. I just realized I'm an idiot. I didn't make a notification about this in the Discord channel. I am such an idiot. I gotta do that. 1 second. Boom. Yeah. I have now pinged the Discord. Ah, I feel so much better. So how is everyone doing today? I figured it would be nice that I could do a stream here on the European hours for once, because everyone else, you know, Aaron, Kolai, Gate Nerd, they are all on the other side of the continent. We've seen a couple of times in chat and the Discord and whatever that a lot of people sort of lament that they can't join the streams because the streams are always like in a bad time for them. So having a stream in the European hours is nice. It's the early morning, I guess, for East Coast US. It's the afternoon in Europe. It's in the evening in Asia. Should be a nice time for basically anyone to be able to participate in this. Ain't that just lovely? Asian streaming is gonna be tricky. We only have one person on the team that is Vorzi, who lives in Australia. What's my opinion on Denmark? Look. I know as a Swede that I'm supposed to have opinions on Denmark. I get that. However, now, while I'm gonna expand on my thoughts on Denmark here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut out panel 1, the white background, and I'm gonna paste that as a new layer. There. So now, for example, if I want to just turn it blue, look at that, I turned it blue, and then I can just move that around without actually affecting anything else. We just have a background for panel 1 as its own layer, which is very nice. Look, I dated a girl from Scania once. That's very close to the Danish border. And I thought that alone was bad enough in just like, having to listen to this accent, having to listen to like what are we even doing here? What does this sound like? This is basically not even a real language. These guttural sounds oozing out of her mouth. which was unpleasant. But I bit the bullet, and I did that anyway. So, what I mean by this is that, like, I am a loving, tolerant person who does not judge based on how many potatoes you have in your mouth when you speak. I should, but I'm not. So, what we have here is a nice, nice post-apocalyptic purple sky color. So I'm gonna start with what's gonna be furthest in the back, which is the sky. And then we're gonna want some lighter colors for that. Let's crank up this pen and do some maybe, right? Unsure how I want to do this. There are a couple of different ways you can do like these color transitions. You can like just make a bit of a mess like this. See, we're making a bit of a mess. And then we can swap the colors. And then we can make a bit of a different mess like this. And then we'll swap again and we'll make a bit of a different mess. And we'll swap again and we'll make it... We're just going to be messy here, back and forth. And click past the ads. No ads. And, you know what? This brush is too thick. We're gonna need a thinner brush. There we go. That's much better. And everyone's like, what do you mean that's much better? What are you even doing? Well, what I'm doing is a mess. See? It will all make sense. It will all make sense, people. There. It will all make sense. Now, we're going to do the exact same thing down here. So we're going to do some cheekies. Yeah. Cheeky. Look at that. Look at that beautiful mess. Oh. That is the wrong color. There. That's the color we want. And then we're unmessing. Ah. Click the wrong button. So, that's the unfortunate part, people, of drawing like actual backgrounds and not just country balls. But there's a lot of stuff like this, a lot of stuff that just you can't really tell what it's supposed to be at this point. You're just gonna have to take my word for it that is all sort of like just gonna come together in the end. But this is where we can start to jazz things up a bit because I am working in GIMP, so I am working with layers, which is where the coolness comes in. So now we're going to do a new layer, and I'm going to do a couple of these just to show you how to draw some pretty fun dynamic backgrounds in GIMP. So now we have a new layer. I'm still using the storyboard as the top layer, so I can just, you know, remove this whenever I want to. So now we have a new layer, and I'm gonna make this a white pencil. And we're gonna be drawing something like this. Maybe you want an arch on it. Yeah, something like that. And then I'm gonna set the opacity of that layer to maybe like 10%. There. And... actually, what if we change that instead of white? What if we make it black? Ooh, that's even... yeah, that's what I was going for. That's what I was going for. Yeah. And we can even do something like this. Of a whoopsie. I did a little circle there. Make that one white. See, because that's where the sun is gonna be. Ain't that cool? But I think it's too white. I'm gonna have to make this a bit more gray. Oh, now it's barely visible. Gotta find the... there, just the right amount of light. Perfect. Perfect. Exactly, chat. Exactly. Trust the process. Trust the process. So, now we're making a new layer. What? DickRhino, that's too excessive. Why are you using this many layers when you're still just drawing the background? Well, people, to that I have one thing to say. Trust the process. So, we got our sun here, people. This is Dark Souls. I'm gonna find my very own sun. Yeah. Wonderful. And people are like, but DickRhino, the sun isn't black. What are you doing? What are you even doing? It's dumb. To which I respond, you're right. I am dumb. So we're gonna make the sun an actual nice sun color. Like that. See? It's a sunset, so it's not too bright. It's a nice sun color. But if we want to, we can even like, we can jazz this up a bit. We can make the middle of the sun a bit brighter. Yeah. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be some happy little accidents. Yeah. Now let's make the middle of the sun even bright. Oh, that's too bright. I went too far, people. I went too far. That was excessive. Yeah. Okay. That's starting to look like a sun. Beautiful. Now we're gonna make another layer. And you're like, DickRhino, come on. You gotta stop. You gotta stop with these layers. And I'm like, I'll never stop with the layers. So, this layer is actually gonna be behind the sun. Not right now, not while I'm drawing. But when it's done. So I'm gonna take like a strong, vibrant color just so that I can see what I'm doing. We're making a line. Like so. And we're making a line like so. And we're making a line like so. And like so. And like so. We have some lines. Now I'm gonna color... Ah! That was bad. I'm gonna color these in. And let's do them the actual color they're supposed to be. Which is sort of like a yellowish thing. There. Yellow, yellow. Look at that, look at that. Now we got some sun going. And I'm gonna set these behind the sun, and I'm gonna lower the opacity on these guys as well. Probably down to something like 20%. Like this. Then we're gonna do another layer. Actually, let's 10%. 10%. Let's not go crazy here. Trust the process. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the exact same thing again. Whoop. 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 Can I see that I've connected everything? Yeah, everything is connected. Great. Okay. And we fill in the colors. Change this one to a slightly different shade. Something like that. Bump, bump, bump. Set that to a 10% opacity too. Put that one behind the sun as well. Look at that. Now we're getting some rays of light here. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Now, we're gonna have so much other stuff in the foreground here, so you're only gonna see, like, this little part here. The rest is, like, not gonna be visible. So, it can be a bit messy like this. It's all gonna look good. Which means it's time for our next step. The next step here is gonna be drawing this here wreckage. It's not exactly a Fallout comic. It is a post-apocalyptic comic. So, time for a new layer. We're up to like our 5th or 6th layer here just for panel 1. Might end up being like 20 layers or something when we're done. And then I'm just going to merge everything together into one once we're done. Trust the process, people. So, now, how about we make it easy for ourselves, and we're going to follow a lot of just my sort of haphazard lines. We can use them. We can do like a thing here. Yeah, look at that. 3D, people. You can do 3D. If you just put 2 lines next to each other, now it's 3D. That's how it works. That is how it works. Here we go. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Now, chat, I want you to tell me a story in your life where you decided to trust the process and it all worked out just fine. Everything ended the way it was supposed to end because you chose to trust the process, and that was the exact right thing to do. Let me know. How has the process helped you in your life? I'm sure you can all come up with something nice. Because there have been times in my life where it was difficult to trust the process. Where it was difficult to just have faith that things were gonna work out if I just stayed on the course. You know why, people? That's because IRL, I am a lawyer. And I don't know what it's like in every country. I know in the US it sucks because everyone and their goddamn grandmother is a lawyer. The US just has too many lawyers, which means it can be quite difficult for a lawyer to find employment. Because they're like, hey, I'm a lawyer. And they're like, we don't care. Lawyers grow on trees here. We don't need any more of you guys. Which is sad. But ain't it the truth? Ah. You studied for a test and got an A. That is great. That is, in fact, trusting the process. Trusting that studying and preparing is actually going to have an effect on the final result. Proud of you. That was very well done. Okay, so now we have like our city ruins here. And we're gonna make them sort of like a... What's a good color here? What's a good color? Because they're gonna be like mostly gray. I'm gonna set the color to mostly gray. But it's gonna have some sort of inherent color to it. So maybe a bit brownish. Maybe a very dark brownish color. Yeah. Something like that. Okay. And I think it needs to be a bit darker still. Yeah, like so. Now I'm gonna show you guys some cool stuff. You're gonna be pretty blown away. You're gonna be pretty blown away when this is done. And we're gonna do one color here for the things that are slightly turned toward the sun. Because we're working with 3D here, people. Actually, not that one. Maybe that one. Yeah. Now, we're gonna have a darker color for things that are slightly more turned toward the sun, but not really. It's gotta be a bit darker than that. That's a better color. slightly turn toward the sun. Slightly, but only slightly. Ever so slightly. Then it gets this color. There we go. That one too. And then we're gonna have an even darker color for things that you can't really say are turned toward the sun. Can't really say that they aren't either. But you definitely can't say that they are. Something like that. And then for the things that are definitely turned away from the sun, we're gonna use our darkest color. Yeah. There. Now this means that the outline... Actually, that was a bit too dark. Yeah. It's a bit too dark. There we go. That's better. That is perfect. Cool. Now the final part. Rays of the sun. Dude, we're doing rays between the buildings, okay? Don't worry about it. Trust the process. I told you. I told you guys. Guys, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? Because I seem to recall telling you guys something about the process and what we should be doing with it. And that thing was trusting it. Now, we're gonna need some windows here. Ain't a building if you ain't got no windows. You want to do it like this? Nah, that's gonna take too long. How about we do it like this instead? Yeah. We're gonna have to do... We're gonna cheat a bit. For some of these. Drawing individual windows is gonna take way too long. How does that look? No, it looked better when I didn't have anything. Yep, that looks better. So we're gonna stick to that. Alright. What we need here is we're gonna sample some colors from the sun. Boom. I'm gonna make this slightly darker, like so. We're gonna go back to our buildings. And we're gonna draw a nice outline right there. Actually, we're gonna need to use a smaller pencil, and it's gonna need to be a brighter color. A more vibrant color, like so. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. Now we're getting the lighting effects that we want. Yeah. Look at that. What? What just happened? That was a hiccup. Ah. Look at this. Look how it's all coming together. Oh, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful. Hey, this one can get some too. I see some sun squinting in there. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, and now for the final annoying one. Rays of light coming in through the rooftops. So we got one here. Choop. Let's see. Choop. So I'm gonna have to use the one pencil here, or I'm not gonna be able to make this work. Which means that I'm gonna have to... Oh, this is gonna be behind the cave wall. I don't give a shit what that ends up looking like. There we go. And it's gonna go... Zoop. Like so. And that's gonna be like just one layer. Because there's gonna be some overlapping stuff here. So if I'm gonna have another one, it's gonna be something that doesn't overlap. Zoop. And zoop. Oh no, it's gotta be straighter. There we go. Wonderful. And here we go. Let's see. How can we make this happen? I know. Whoop. Yeah. That is gonna be great. That's a hit. That's a hit, people. So I'm gonna color these in just like before. Have a nice yellow color like that. Set it to like a 10% opacity. Put it behind the buildings. Ah. I don't like this pixel. This pixel is mocking me. That's so much better. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Now, we're gonna have to do this again. Because they're gonna be overlapping. Now, I'm gonna take this building. And we're gonna do a zoop. And a zoop. Like so. Wonderful. And here, we can have a zoop. Something like that. That's a better line. And let's see. Actually, this one has to be in front of the buildings, right? Yeah, it has to be in front of the buildings. Okay. Yeah, I see a mistake I made. That's fine. That's fine. We can use some magic to get rid of that mistake. I'm just gonna have to talk you guys through it. It's gonna be so cool. Let's see. This one is gonna be here. We're gonna have to do this a bit different. Yeah. Okay. Ah! Something wasn't connected. Shut up. No, shut up. I don't want ads. Get out of here with your ads. No one likes you, ad. Well, actually, I like ads when ads give me money. But I don't like ads when I have to watch ads. I feel like this makes sense. Alright. Here we go. Put these at 10% opacity, like so. Actually, these have to be even less. These have to be like 5% or something. Yeah. Now, because some of these lights have to go like in front of buildings, some have to go behind them. I'm gonna have to use the eraser to get rid of them. Actually, here we can do... The eraser is gonna be anti-aliased. So instead, what we can do is we can use the lasso tool to highlight a section like this and just cut it out. And then we'll get rid of it in a way that doesn't create any anti-aliasing problems. That's a neat little GIMP trick you can do. So we'll do the same thing here. Whoop. And cut. That wasn't perfect. We're gonna have to do another lasso, a better one. Yeah. And cut. There we go. And let's see. That's from this one. Yeah. And then from this one, we're gonna have to lasso here. And let's see. probably gonna have to lasso this one too. Something like that. Here, we have to lasso this one. So this is just something that comes with practice, sort of like identifying and looking at like lighting as like, oh, what line is supposed to go where, what line is supposed to overlap with what line, etc., yada yada. And it can be quite a tricky process, people. It can be quite a tricky process to get through. Now, if I want this house to be in front of some other stuff, we might have to... I'm just gonna see what it looks like if I take away the... Oh, am I on the wrong layer? Yeah, there we go. Decent. Okay. No, that's fine. We're gonna have to remove this as well. So it's like a patchwork of just different layers on top of each other, with some rays of sun being allowed to exist and some being stripped away. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Cool. Oh yes, thank you, French Ball. Absolutely. Everyone who watches this stream does in fact have to like and subscribe. If you do not like and subscribe, I've heard that bad things happen to you. I don't know exactly what happens. And I'm not sure you want to find out. I'm not sure you want to take that risk. It might end up poorly for you if you decide to take that risk. So, the smart money would be to simply not challenge the gods and just like and subscribe. Alright, this part is simple. We have our post-apocalyptic wasteland. Now we just need some dirt, some ground. It's gonna cover all of this. Yeah. Okay. How do we feel about that color? Is it okay? Is it a good color? I think it's a pretty good color. Now we're gonna go back to the thing we did before, which is to mess around with slightly darker colors in slightly select areas. Like this. Chicka 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 chicka. Chicka 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 chicka. What are you doing, DickRhino? This looks so weird. Why are you doing it like this? I know. Why? It doesn't make any sense. But it will. Trust the process, people. Trust the process. And like so. And like so. Yeah. I didn't like that one. Now, I hope you all enjoy listening to the sound of my voice. Let me know, do you want me to rant about other stuff as well, or do you want me to mainly talk about the comic drawing and like my drawing process? Just want to know what would be more entertaining for you as stream watchers. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, I'm gonna have to do another thing here. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. I'm gonna do another layer. Another layer? That's nuts. I know. I know I'm crazy like that. Crazy like a fox. I'm gonna take like some wacky color so that I can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna draw a line here. And I'm gonna draw a line. No, not like that. Like this. Yeah. And we're gonna do a line here. And we're gonna do a line here. We're gonna do a line here. And a line here. Trust the process, people. I'm gonna connect all of these so they're not in the way. And for the slightly annoying part here, I'm just gonna have to trace alongside the bottom here. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to, you know, spend too much time on something I don't want to spend time on. Karl does like talking about politics. I know that. It's fun, the podcast that I did together with Karl and Aaron, where it's just the three of us talking about stuff. It's fun how, you know, Karl was pretty chill. Pretty, like, just subdued and just chatting normally about just stuff. But then, like, as soon as we start talking about politics, he just lights up. And he starts talking at, like, triple the speed, quadruple the speed of what he did before. There we go. It's just he comes alive. Aaron has a super calm voice. He always sounds like he's stoned. I don't know if he is, but he sounds like he is. Now, let's see. Here, I'm gonna have to... where is it? Here. I'm gonna have to cut some stuff out here. There. Boop. So that I can see what I'm doing. So as you can see, people, we're getting somewhere here, right? If I remove the storyboard here, look at that. This is starting to look like an actual comic. Ain't that cool? What do I think of Italy turning fascist again? I mean, that would imply that they ever stopped being fascist. No. Look. It's a difficult time. It's a difficult time because there are winds blowing in Europe, not just in Italy, but in many countries. And the reasons why are you could spend countless hours talking about it and not even scratch the surface. Everything from the Syrian refugee crisis of 2015 to I don't know, the certain countries never really having to face what they did in World War II, for example. Italy did. Italy did have to sort of like come to terms with what they did in World War II. But some countries, like Austria, for example, they just got away with it, didn't they? They were like, oh, we were victims too. That damn... let's see. Oh, shit, I fucked up. I have to redo this. I forgot to make a new layer, people. That is amateur hour. Amateur hour. I'm so sorry. But whatever the reason, it is unfortunate that a lot of xenophobia is spreading across the entire continent. Because, like, I don't know. I feel like the world is heading in an unpleasant direction. in many ways. Now, let's see. And I don't think that my generation is going to be capable of changing things for the better or stopping this negative trend. It's probably going to be like the next generation. Teenagers, kids growing up today. They're going to have to go in and fix all of the shit that, you know, my previous generation, the boomers or whatever. That's sort of where I'm at. I think my generation can see the problems. I think we don't have it in us to fix them. I think we're gonna have to leave that for the kids. Which, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that you're being dealt that hand. I'm sorry that you're gonna be the guys who have to fix everything that everyone who came before you fucked up. I don't think my generation has the willpower to get it done. Sad. What do I think about libertarians? Libertarians? You mean Republicans who don't want to admit that they're Republicans? I grew up believing in a lot of like libertarian stuff. But I'm gonna say that 2016 and the elections, they opened my eyes to a lot of things that I had been blind toward. Which was that a lot of people who I thought were of the same mind as me actually weren't at all. A lot of people who I thought, you know, stood by principle and actually believed in the things that they said that they believed in. I believed that. I thought they were being truthful. And then it turned out that a lot of people weren't actually as ideologically consistent as I had expected them to be. I was surprised at how many people talking about these, you know, libertarian values and stuff, and small government and freedom and whatnot, how quickly they rallied around a con man who could not like represent what their ideals were supposed to be to a greater extent. And I was like, huh, that's fucked up. I thought you guys actually believed in these things, not just talking about them. I thought you believed in them. And they were like, man, you're a sucker. We never believed in any of this shit. We just wanted power. And this was just our path to power. An interesting thing to note is like youth organizations. They typically attract people based on what is currently like the most popular party. You'd think it would be like sort of more ideologically consistent or whatever. But in Sweden, like as soon as the Conservative Party became like the biggest party, all of a sudden they attracted like 10 times as many people as they used to for their youth organizations. Like overnight. You'd think that would take longer for such a change to take effect. You'd think. But there were a lot of people who were very, very willing to jump ship immediately when this became the new path to power. Sad. Oh, this is starting to look good. I feel like the cave could be a bit more cavey, if this makes sense to you guys. It's just a question of like how much time am I willing to spend on cavifying this cave so that it looks suitably cavey. And I have some ideas. I think I can do it pretty quickly with a size 1 pen. Oh yeah. There we go. Size 1 pen to the rescue. Yeah. Something like this. Look at this. We're just doing little dots. Little cavey dots. Ah. You're like, oh my god, these lines are so fast. How is he doing it? How? This, I can't even keep up. He's moving too fast. I couldn't follow his movements at all. But I don't know. Look, Cola is the guy who you go to if you want like the deep political analysis. Me, I had some ideas when I was younger about getting into politics, but I got so disillusioned. So I turned to law instead. Is that a more noble endeavor? Maybe. I don't know. You tell me. I was like, it feels a bit more like a meritocracy at least. It feels like, you know, to get somewhere in law, it's not just about shaking hands. It's not just about lobbying or going to the right parties, joining the right organizations, knowing the right people. To get somewhere in law, you actually have to, like, at least to some extent, know what you're doing. There's always going to be idiots. In every walk of life, in every career you choose, you're always going to have to deal with idiots. But I figured, at least with law, there's a higher barrier of entry, right? The dumbest people aren't going to be as dumb. If that makes sense. That was at least my line of thinking. So the thing we did here with the buildings, we're gonna do the same thing here with this cave entrance. It's gonna look beautiful. Take a size 3 pencil, and we're just gonna trace the outline. It's gonna be so beautiful. This is what happens when you trust the process, people. Good things will come to you. Oh, hey, on a personal note, I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you look at like my Comic React videos from like December or something, and then compare it to what I look like on the stream right now, some of you might notice that, holy shit, DickRhino lost a shit ton of weight. That is true. That is true. I did. But, you know, not even close to where I'm gonna be. So far, I have dropped about 11 kilos since February. I don't know how much that is in pounds. Maybe like, I don't know, 24 or something. Something like that. Ah, gorgeous. See this? This ain't half bad. This ain't half bad for a first panel. Beautiful. Why do you ask Moffe what the Swedish word for hello is? I'm Swedish. Why aren't you asking me? Jesus Christ. You can say hello. You can say hey. You can say hejsan. You can say tjena. There's so many ways of saying hello in Swedish. All of them good. Now. Time to draw a country ball. For once! We're doing a country ball stream. We've been streaming for over an hour. And I have not drawn a single country ball. But it is time. You just gotta pick an outline thickness. And I think a 15 is good here. And yeah. Oh, that was bad. I think. No, actually that wasn't too bad. No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah. Cool. So here's what we do with country balls. I am going to copy this outline. I'm going to paste another one on top of it, and I'm going to paint that one black. And I'm going to put it behind the green one for now. Crazy, right? Okay, flag of USA. I'm going to pull that up here. I had it as a previous hidden layer. I'm going to copy the colors of the US flag. Boom. Excellent. Now, let's use some placeholder colors while I just draw some outlines here. We're gonna need... Is that a good thickness? No, we're gonna need to be thicker, right? We're gonna need to be even thicker. Yeah, 50. That's good. Because USA is thick. And we're gonna need 1 line. 2 lines. 3 lines. Skip that one. Don't need that one. Remember, people, when you draw USA, doesn't have to be perfect. I just hate it when people draw like just a smattering of like random little dots. Actually draw the stars. You don't need to draw all the the updated flag. Oh shit, you're right. You're right, I might have to do that. You don't need to draw all 50 flags. You don't, people. But at least draw some flags. At least draw some of them. Okay? That's all I ask. And we're gonna boom, 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 boom. Beautiful. I didn't like this line here. It's a bit uneven. We're gonna smoothen this out. Yeah, that's good. You're right, I might have to go and get the updated flag. They have changed the flag colors for USA on Wikipedia. Ben Cog, that is what we call a straw man. It's very easy to be like, oh, well, my side believes in good. That must mean that people who are opposed to my side, they must believe in evil. They must be champions of evil then, because I believe in good. It's not really how it works. Now, we shall fill in some proper colors. I don't like these new USA colors on Wikipedia. I don't like them. They mock me. They're ugly. I preferred the previous version. But I guess this is the world we live in now. Now let's draw some stars. So as you can see, I'm drawing these stars way too big. On purpose. So that I don't have to draw all 50 of them. Let's just do some stupid big old stars. And call it a day. That is my recommendation for how to not want to end your own life because you drew a comic where you want to draw USA like 10 times. Because you do. You know why? Because then your comic is gonna do better. Because a lot of Americans, they only read comics that America is in. And if America is not in the comic, then they are not gonna read it. So if you want your comic to do well, you put America in it. And it's gonna do better. You find a reason to put USA in your comic. Now, is that cynical of me to accuse Americans of being so culturally uninterested in other countries? Maybe. To that, I respond, prove me wrong, bitches. Go read comics that don't have USA in them. Report back to me. Now we're just gonna clean this up a little bit. I hate jagged edges. I gotta make these stars, you know, look palatable, at least. They don't have to be perfect, but they gotta be palatable. Look at that. That's not a star shape. What is this? What is this? It's awful. That's better. All right, look. Look at this. See this? This is what I would classify as good enough. Opinion on LGBTQ? Go for it. That's my opinion. This is a non-bigotry channel right here, people. So my opinion on LGBTQ is that they are our friends. I personally am not LGBTQ. But they're kinda cool. Now, let's see. There are many ways of saying goodbye in Swedish, just like there are many ways of saying hello. Check this out, people. What is he doing? Ew, that looked awful. Maybe a little bit better. No. Okay, that was pretty good. What is he doing? You can say, hej då. You can say, tja, just like how you said, hey. But now you add a då. So it's tja då. That's about it. But no, hej då is the that is the general use goodbye. It's never wrong. Never wrong to use hej då. Why am I taking so much time with this? It doesn't matter. Anywho, this is how you do shading with layers. You just do black and then you set it to, like, I don't know, 60% opacity or something. Maybe 70%. Look at that. We have our shading. It's done. Gorgeous. And as always with USA, you need a separate layer for the sunglasses. Now, fortunately, we are getting sort of close to being finished with this panel. So, I'm gonna just draw something that looks a bit better than this. And We're gonna do like something like this. Yeah. Now the only question here is like, when you draw the glasses, do you want to draw like an ear holder thing here? Because why? Country balls don't have ears. So why would you need that? You wouldn't. So I feel like you can just draw the sunglasses like this. They don't need something that they can like rest on ears. Think about it, people. You gotta stop and think. Ah. And for our last little touch, we're gonna do some highlighting on these glasses like this. Beautiful. Can't just do shading, people. You gotta do highlighting as well. Although you're probably gonna be fine just doing shading. Guys, did you know that shaded country balls, it's sort of a me thing. Back before I started drawing comics, there weren't a whole lot of people doing like shading on country balls. I'm sorta one of the guys who popularized it. Because you have to understand that when this just came from the Kraut-chan thing, when that's mostly what Polandball was, it was like the art styles were very rough. Most of it was like not what you would categorize as any sort of like high art or whatever. And there was some resistance to that when guys like me and Karl showed up. There were people who didn't like what we were doing. And they were like, no, Polandball is supposed to be low art. You're making it look too good. Now, let's see, where is the... there. I had to find the layer that was the black outline. It's that one. So I'm gonna move that one up here. The black outline goes on top. And then we're gonna merge down. And merge down. And merge down all of our USA layers. And now we can remove the superfluous stuff. Oh. Where did that come from? Oh, right. I have to do this the hard way. Boom. Ain't that beautiful? Now I've decided that this here cave wall shouldn't be that yellow glowy. It should be more of a beige color. Something like that. But maybe a bit lighter. That's better. Yeah. Now the only question left is, do I do that on USA as well? Like, do I do, you know, an outline like this for USA as well to match the sun? No, I don't think so. I think it's nice when you have your entire comic that adheres to rules of lighting and perspective and shades and all of that. But then the country balls are just country balls, and they don't respect any of those rules, and they're just there. Does Falco know how popular Polandball has become? That is a very good question. And it's a question that I don't know the answer to. For all of you people who don't know, Falco is the creator of Polandball, as it were. He is the guy who made the first Polandball comics back in 2009 on the Kraut-chan message board. But here's the problem, okay? No one knows who Falco is. No one knows where Falco went when Falco stopped making Polandball comics. So what I'm doing now, because I'm done with panel 1, is I'm merging down all of these layers. All of them. All of them. Into a single layer. Like so. And now I'm going to... because I'm not going to go back and edit anything. Famous last words, right? So now I'm just making a selection that is exactly the frame. And then I'm cutting that out. And then I'm gonna paste that as a new layer. And delete everything superfluous. There. And there you have it, people. Panel 1. Check that out. Compared to like my original storyboard. Beautiful. Yes, Wojak did indirectly make both Polandball and Wojak reaction images, because both were made to make fun of him. It's hilarious. I have already explained my opinion on Denmark on this stream. I'm not gonna repeat myself. Falco did not just make the first Polandball comic, he made a bunch of them. There's like maybe 20 or something comics that we've found that can be attributed to Falco. And then a lot of other people just sort of picked it up and started making their own Polandball comics as well in that style. But then Falco sort of dipped out and just stopped making Polandball comics. And we don't really know who he is, he, she, it. We don't know who they are, or what they would go on to do after that. So, no idea. I don't know what Falco thinks about Polandball comics today. The fact that they've become a global phenomenon. One could speculate and say that just the fact that Falco has never sort of stepped forward and wanted to associate with it might mean that he doesn't like it. Who knows, right? Oh, I'm drinking an iced coffee that my wife made for me before she took my daughter and went out to the zoo. I have not watched Phineas and Ferb, so I don't have an opinion of Phineas and Ferb. So, this is panel 1. This is what we've got. Am I super happy about the cave? No, that's probably the weakest part. But that's fine. I do really enjoy how this turned out. The city ruins with the sun behind it. It looks gorgeous. I'm very happy about that. And, you know, I'm gonna add the dialogue later, just what USA is gonna be saying as he's like looking out and talking about it. But man, that is not a half bad first comic panel. Beautiful. Chat, if you were to score this comic panel on a score from 1 to 67, where would it end up on your scorecard? Who knows? Anywho. We could move on. But before we do, I gotta do a quick toilet break. And probably get something more to drink. So, I'll be a couple of seconds. Toodles. Don't go anywhere. The stream isn't ending. I'm just gonna take a quickie little break. Yeah. Okay. Do. Now. Are we gonna be reusing some of the same colors? Yes, we are. But not all of them. But first up, we're gonna do the same thing as we did before. Which is we're gonna cut out this frame and start anew. With this frame just being whoop, its own layer. I'm gonna sample the background color and use that as our base. Oh no, chair stream is over. Man, chair, that was a good stream host. Pour one out for chair, people. Chair had a good run. My job? I won't tell you specifics. I will tell you that I'm a lawyer. But I won't tell you exactly what my job is. You know why? Because no doxing, that's why. You're on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know. But I am a lawyer. I'll tell you that much for free. So what we're doing here is we have to think differently now, right? We have to think differently on lighting and shading because now we're looking at things from the opposite side. So instead of the sky becoming like just, you know, turning from one shade to another and whatnot, now it's going in the different direction. Same with like shades and like how lighting lines are gonna move forward. It's gonna be a thing. It's gonna take some time. But we can stop here and be like, this is fine for now for our background. Especially since we're gonna add clouds. What I will do though is I will do a little of the same thing I did before. Do. Interesting. Oh, that's why. I see. I messed up a bit. I used the wrong base color. That's the right base color. Thought it looked off. There, that's way better. Ah. That's a thing, people. Just when you're drawing layer after layer, panel after panel, just keeping track of like, oh, which shade of whatever color was supposed to be used right here in this particular segment. Do.
Premium is ad-free YouTube and YouTube Music Premium, a whole app just for streaming music.
There we go.
Uninterrupted.
That looks nice.
YouTube Premium.
I don't have an opinion on Sri Lanka. Stop asking me about Sri Lanka. I don't have an opinion on it. Deal with it. Now, let's draw some happy little clouds. Clouds can be very hard. Clouds can also be sorta easy. It all depends on like just how crazy you want to go with it. I'm gonna show you a way of drawing clouds that's actually not too awful. So far so good, right? Okay. Look at that. See this? See our nice little cloud outlines here? Check this out. This is all we have to do. Literally all we have to do. Womp. Let's do it this way instead. Yeah. Ah. Check that. A single line. Bump. Hey, that's a cloud. It's that easy. It's that easy. You're like, oh my god. What have I been doing with my life? I have been spending so much time drawing clouds and they just always look like shit. When I could have just been doing this bullshit the entire time. Yeah. I know, right? There! Clouds are done! And that looks just fine. Ah. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. We need another layer, people. This is gonna be for the cave. It's so simple. Doot 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 doot. Doot 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 doot. Doot 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 doot. Now I kind of feel like USA needs to be a bit smaller than I drew him here. Maybe not, I don't know. The risk is if I draw him too small, people won't see him when they look at the comic. And that's a thing. That's a thing, people. When we do approval requests in the subreddit and say yes or no to people who want posting rights, do you know what one of the most common reasons for rejection is? I'll tell you what the most common reason for rejection is. Narratively, that is. I mean, there are obviously a lot of like art issues and just things that don't look very good. But if we're just talking about artistic stuff, the number one reason for comics being rejected is because the comics don't fucking explain themselves. It's because you can't understand the comic just by reading the comic. Because it's confusing and the reader just sort of assumes, I mean the writer just assumes that any reader knows the same things that they know. They have the same knowledge, the same education, knowledgeable about the same things. So you don't have to explain anything in the comic. You know how common that is? That they're like, oh, this is a physics joke. Anyone who has like a degree in physics would find this super fun. And it's like, okay, but what if you don't have a degree in physics? Well, then that's fine, because I'll just write a comment in the post explaining to everyone what the comic is about. Do you know how bad that is? No one's gonna do that. No one is going to do that. If you expect a reader to read the comic, because that's sort of like the line of thinking, right? They're like, oh yeah, anyone who reads this, they're just gonna be super okay with reading the comic, not understanding what the comic is about, go to the comment section, read this essay that I wrote explaining the comic. Then they're gonna be like, oh, that's what the comic is about. Then they're gonna reread the comic after having read that essay. And now they're gonna chuckle and find it funny. It's like, is that what you think is gonna happen? Because that's not what's gonna happen, people. No. What's gonna happen is they're gonna read the comic, they're gonna go, I don't get it. And then they're gonna nope out. Come on, people, be better. Yeah, no. FM Roman, you're absolutely right. I mean, in some cases, you can blame the reader. And be like, ah, y'all just stupid. There are certain references to like... You'd think that someone would understand what the phrase sleeping with the fishes means. There is absolutely an argument to be made that media literacy in general has gone to hell. I don't know who we blame. It's pretty common to blame TikTok for everything bad in the world right now. Maybe TikTok is at least somewhat to blame for the loss of media literacy across the globe. Maybe. I don't know. But that one is fine. I feel like if you make a comic about sleeping with the fishes, I feel like that's not expecting too much out of people to understand what that means. They should be able to. Now, this is some quick and dirty shading. Look at this. Ah. Beautiful. Gorgeous. It doesn't have to be more than that. Sometimes this is just fine, right? Doesn't have to be more complicated than that. More DickRhino brain rot comics. Are you talking about my Skibidi Poland? Man. Part of me is a little bit ashamed of having made that. Part of me. Is it better if we use a really dark gray in black flags, or do you prefer full black? Actually, I use dark gray myself. When I draw Germany, for example. Because I use black for the actual outline. So I do, in fact, draw the flag color as a very dark gray. It makes it easier with the shading. It makes it easier to tell things apart outside of the outline. I think that's fine. I'm not gonna crucify you. Nope. I'm gonna copy this. Paste as new layer. Paint it black. Put it behind. Classic technique. Classic. French Ball, you said that someone you talked to said that Polandball sucks, but didn't want to justify it. Hey man, not everything is for everyone. Some people, you can't get them into an argument because they're like, nope, my opinion is my opinion. In which case, don't waste your time. You won the argument. Well, I think the question in that case is that, does the other guy think you won the argument? Maybe they think they won the argument. I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you people from someone who's in his 40s. And the faster you learn this lesson, the better for your entire lives. And I'm not even joking, not even a little bit. Okay? The new generation of people are fucked. Because y'all have forgotten about the exchange of ideas. You've forgotten what that is or what that's for. So here's DickRhino dumping some facts on you that you need to hear. Okay? Arguments, and this is fucking Ben Shapiro's fault. And everyone like him. Okay? Arguments are not meant for winning. If you think that the reason why you argue with someone is to win the argument, then you have already lost. Arguments are for, listen to me, we're gonna spell it out. I'm gonna spell it out for you. Arguments are for learning. Oh shit. Manny to the max. Thank you. How did I choose my name? Okay, that's actually a real story. Anyway, I'm just gonna finish this thought and then I'm gonna answer that. Okay? Arguments are for learning. Arguments are for expanding your mind and for thinking in new pathways and new directions. And if you go into an argument with the idea that the point of the argument is to win, then here's a newsflash for you. You ain't gonna learn shit. And the person you're talking to ain't gonna learn shit. Neither of you are going to learn anything. Neither of you will have grown as a person. Neither of you will have improved as a result of having that argument. All you fucking did was waste each other's time. That's it. That's all you did. You wasted each other's time. It would have been better for you to do nothing at all. And I'm sorry. But that's what it is. Cool. You should always enter an argument with the mindset that the reason why I'm talking to this person is because I want to learn something. I want to learn something new that I didn't know yesterday. Even if I don't agree with this person, I want to hear why they think the way they do. I want the backstory. I want their rationale. And even if I still end up disagreeing with them, maybe I walk away from it with a better understanding of why they have the perspective that they have. Maybe I'll walk away from it just understanding a little bit more about how the world works and how different people think and how they come to the conclusions in life that they've come to. And then you can take that new information, that new knowledge. You can assimilate it into your worldview. And look at that. All of a sudden, whoop-de-doo, you grew as a person. You understand the world better today than you did yesterday. You learned something. But if you enter into an argument with the mindset that, like, so long as I can walk away from this argument and say to myself that I won, then that's it. Then you're gonna be, like, intellectually stunted. You're not gonna grow. You're not gonna develop. It's a waste of time. Anywho, that was a way too long rant. I apologize for that. Now, we're gonna merge down. Merge down. Merge down. That is USA. Delete this stuff right here. Ah, I fucked up. I fucked up. I shouldn't have merged. There. Sunglasses should be on top. Jesus Christ. Amateur hour. Sunglasses need to be a bit darker. That's better. Cool. Now we can merge down. So, you want to hear about my username. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. No, everything that I said does not apply to flat earthers. Jesus Christ, no. Flat earthers are supposed to be mocked. Flat earthers are an embarrassment to this world. Back in the day, when I made my Reddit account, Reddit was a bit of a different place than it is today. It was more like just, you know, more nerd culture. Today, Reddit is for everyone. Today, there's too many normies on Reddit. I don't like it. Back then, it was just like sort of exclusively tech nerds. Edgy tech nerds. So, why can't I cut that thing out? Oh, it's because I'm an idiot. Never mind. So here's what happened. Here's what happened. Back in the day, how many people here read the Penny Arcade webcomic? Because I do. It's one of the oldest webcomics. It's been around for decades at this point. It was one of the first ones. And it's also still like one of the first ones that got like really big. They drew a comic strip that they got a lot of flack for back in the day. Let's see. The comic strip. Yeah, in 2010. It's a comic strip about World of Warcraft. It's called The Sixth Slave. And this is about my username. It was about the hilarity of doing side quests in games like World of Warcraft, where you're supposed to like, oh, go save 5 slaves. And then you go save the 5 slaves. And you get your quest completion. And the 6th slave is about, no, wait, what about me? And you're like, I don't give a shit. Sorry. And that 5th slave is describing his situation. Talking about what it's like to be a slave. Like every morning we are roused awake by savage blows. And I'm not sure I can say this word on YouTube without getting demonetized, because I think the algorithm picks up on that. But anyway, he said every night we are graped to sleep by the dick wolves. That was the punchline. And what happened was that Penny Arcade got into a lot of trouble over this comic strip. Like, this is one of the earlier examples of the internet attempting to cancel someone. Like, actually, if you go Google, like, for example, the Penny Arcade Dick Wolves controversy, there's been, like, a lot of stuff written about this. But the thing was that, I mean, the protest was that, like, jokes about rape are never funny. You should never, under any circumstance, joke about that. And so basically, like, just you should apologize for having made this comic and made this joke. It's not like they are presenting people who engage in that sort of behavior as being sympathetic or anything, but it was just the subject matter. They were like, and this is 2010, right? So this is back before, you know, trigger warnings were a thing. This is back before, I mean, PC culture has always been a thing. The debate about what you can and can't joke about has gone on for as long as comedy has existed. Okay, so that's not new. But they were a bit taken aback by it. They were surprised by the just the outrage, I guess. Which you shouldn't, because there are a lot of people on the internet who are, like, you know, professional outrage mongers, and just thrive on finding things to be outraged about. So what they did was that they doubled down, and just, instead of apologizing, they made another strip, sort of just like explaining why we're not going to apologize about this, which of course only made things worse. What they should have done was just shut the fuck up and just wait for it to blow over, because it always does. But they didn't. So that was a thing that went on for a long time. I thought it was really stupid. I thought that the hate campaign against them and the campaign to get them cancelled was stupid. So I had a lot of sympathy about that. Then, many, many years later, and actually not many years later at all, because holy shit, I just made myself feel old. I just made myself feel really old. Because now I'm like, wait, when did I make my Reddit account? Because the Penny Arcade thing happened in 2010. So this probably, yeah, look at that. I made my Reddit account in 2012. Ugh. I'm so fucking old. 10 years ago. So, 12 years ago. Oof. Even worse. Anyway, what happened back in 2012 was, today I don't agree with this. Today I sort of take a different stance. So like I've changed my mind about this whole thing. But back then there was a situation with Felicia Day, who is a sort of like a gaming personality and friend with Will Wheaton. And there was a games journalist who wrote like some sort of opinion piece about I guess this is like pre-Gamergate, but I guess it was back this whole mentality of like, oh, who is a real gamer, who is a fake gamer, and whatever. And I guess he had some issue with her getting like becoming like a personality in the gamer world when he thought that she was like a fake gamer or something. So he wrote an opinion piece about people like her, and he referred to her as a glorified booth babe. Now, booth babes is the thing that, like, I don't think it's a thing anymore, but back in the day, when gaming was still sort of a domain of nerds, there was this push to make gaming mainstream. Now, obviously, nowadays it is. So that push was absolutely successful. But there was a push to make gaming mainstream. So you had, like, all of these normies and marketing guys and executives trying to think of like, oh, how can we sell this shit to the public in many different ways. And like sports games was like the first thing that really made gaming a normie thing. But one of the things was like at gaming conventions and whatever, you had scantily clad women basically just be there. This is like before cosplay culture became a huge cultural thing. This was more, it started more as like a corporate thing, actually. Of just scantily clad women at the booths in conventions trying to attract people to go there and check out what the cool new game is. Sort of like how, why does fighting organizations like the UFC and boxing, why do they still have like, you know, the scantily clad women holding a sign showing what round it is, like the ring girls. It's so sort of outdated and icky, but yeah, but that's what it was. So Felicia Day did like YouTube videos where she did cosplay stuff and like comedy skits or whatever. And he did his opinion piece that he wrote where he called her a glorified booth babe. Which back then, I thought that's not a big deal. What's the big deal? That's not that bad, whatever. Nowadays, looking back on it, I'm like, that's disrespectful as fuck. But but anyway, I was young and dumb. Anyway, Will Wheaton, who is friends, he's a Star Trek actor and also a gaming personality, and friends with Felicia Day. He saw this article, and he put this guy on blast, basically just writing a thing online about like this. Fuck this guy. We need to get this guy out of the industry completely, and started like a massive hate campaign against him. Which ended up blackballing this guy from the entire industry. Where he's like, nope, you're fired from your job, and you can't get like a journalism job anywhere else either. You're like done in gaming. Which is very, very harsh as a response to him writing that article where it's like, oh, your career is over. But that's what happened. And back then I thought it was excessive. I thought it was like, even if you have a point about what he said was wrong, I was back in that era of like just I don't like cancel culture, and I don't like going after a person to that extent. So I wanted to make my voice heard and my opinion known, what I think about all this. And it's like, how do I do that? By making memes about it. So I was like, I'm gonna make a Reddit account and I'm gonna make some memes and I'm gonna say my piece and people are gonna hear what I think about it, and this is gonna matter in the long run. Yeah, it doesn't. But That's what I thought. And this is back when like advice animals was the big thing of like just meme template images. And I did that for quite some time when I that's the first thing I did when I got my Reddit account before I found Polandball. I think I found Polandball when my Reddit account was like a year old or something. And this this journalist, his Twitter handle back then was pissed off Rhino. That was like his Twitter @ or whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna make a Reddit account and I'm gonna make some memes about this. And then I thought about like, oh shit, what? This is important. What should I make my Reddit username? It's got to be something good. It's got to be something that's gonna resonate with people. So I knew what I knew about Reddit culture already because I'd been lurking it. So I knew that like, okay, it's got to be something witty and slightly offensive because Reddit loves that shit. Especially back then it did with like slightly offensive usernames. Not too offensive, but slightly offensive. And then I remembered the whole thing about Penny Arcade and the Dick Wolves thing. And I was like, oh yeah, that's great. I'm gonna call myself Dick Wolf. Because this situation reminds me of that situation. But Dick Wolf was already taken. And then I remembered that guy's Twitter handle, Pissed Off Rhino. And I'm like, I guess I'm DickRhino. And that's it. That's the origin story of that username. Looking back on it, first of all, like I don't even agree with the stance I took back then. I've changed my mind about that. And second, it's kind of bad to have a username with Dick in it because I can't fucking use it anywhere. You can't make a video game account name that has like the word Dick in it, so I always have to like come up with something else instead. So if I were to do it over again, I would probably choose a different username. And I tried to, like, I have a gaming channel together with my wife that I have outside of Polandball. It's called 2-Star Players. You can go and check that channel out. It's pretty cool. We play games together. It's dormant right now because, you know, I'm on paternity leave and all that. But I don't use the DickRhino name there. I just go by Nick, which is my real name. So, I thought about disassociating myself from it. But then we started this Polandball YouTube channel and I can't, right? I can't. I'm known, it's so strong, this connection of DickRhino and the Polandball. I can't get away from it. I have to use that name here. Ugh. So, yeah, DickRhino. I guess it could be DickRhino instead. But it's too late now. I'm stuck with it. So this is the you know, I made my bed, now I have to lie in it. This is going to be my username on this YouTube thing. I can't get away from DickRhino. It defines me. Oh well, that was a very long story. I apologize that it took that long. Let's get back to drawing some comics, shall we? Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Like, I'm gonna get back to it, but here's the thing. That channel is monetized, okay? I live in a good country, not like that shithole country, USA. No, I live in a good country in that I live in a country that actually, you know, takes care of its people. So you know what that means? That means that I have something called paid paternity leave. Americans don't know what that is. I actually get paid by my government to stay at home and take care of my kid. Ain't that fucking crazy? You'd think that was the norm everywhere. It is everywhere. It's just the US. It's like just the US that are like, what? Paid paternity leave? What's that?
Premium is ad-free YouTube.
And basically all other countries in the world are like, well, yeah, we're not monsters. Of course we're gonna pay you to stay at home with your kids. Anywho, what that means is that for me to get my government money, I'm not allowed to actually work. Because if I still work and still make money while I get money from the government for being on paternity leave, you know what we call that? That's called welfare fraud. That's a crime. So that's it, people. That's it in a nutshell. I am not allowed to work. Can't do it. So, I can't make any content for my gaming YouTube channel that I have together with my wife while I'm on paternity leave, because that would actually be a crime. Crazy how that works. So right now, my gaming channel is dormant. It will go back online when I'm no longer on paternity leave. Doop 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 boop boop a doop boop. Ba-da ba 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 da ba da. All right, that was one story. Do you guys like hearing my stories? Do you want to hear some other stories about other things? Let me know if you want to hear more stories and rants. Oh, no, it's not arrested for working. It's arrested for working while you're collecting welfare checks. That's the issue. That's what you're not allowed to do. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Ah. All right. Now the problem is that like I'm still supposed to draw. So there's a limit to sort of like how engaging I can be to think about telling stories in a fun way while I am still also focused on drawing. But I'll try. If you can come up with a topic, something that you'd like for me to talk about, I can do my best. And my best ain't half bad. I'll tell you that much for free. Well, the thing, French Ball, the thing is that welfare is supposed to be for those who need it. Right? If I'm working and making money, then I don't actually need them welfare checks. Then they should instead be going to someone who actually needs them. That's where the whole fraud thing comes in. If that makes sense. Why do I stay in Sweden? Dude. What a... That is... Have you been to Stockholm? If you had been to Stockholm, you would not ask such a question, because Stockholm, legit, not joking, not exaggerating, it's one of the most beautiful cities in the entire world. I have traveled a lot. I have been many places in this world. And there are few capital cities out there that are as fucking gorgeous as Stockholm is. It's absolutely amazing. So, why I would want to stay there, I feel, is pretty self-explanatory. How many people here have been to Stockholm? Probably not that many, because there aren't that many people who have, like, visited Sweden. Favorite place in Stockholm? Man. The thing about Stockholm is that, like, it's a city on an archipelago. So it's just comprised of a bunch of islands. And heavily forested. So there's like parks and greenery just everywhere. It's gorgeous. It's even like sort of hard to pick out a favorite spot. 'Cause everything is wonderful. Ah. I think this time I might actually draw some windows. Let's see. Is that worth it? Maybe. Maybe that's worth it. It's gonna take a while. If you are ever going to go to Sweden, then you should either go, or Stockholm, you should either go in the winter, when it's winter wonderland, or you should go in the high summer. It's kinda shitty in the autumn, it's kinda shitty in spring. It's fucking amazing in high summer. Fucking amazing in the winter. So that's my tip. You're getting that one for free. Is this worth it? Yeah, kinda. Kinda. Since we're zoomed in on the city. Ugh, I hate that I have to do this. But I kinda have to. I should have drawn bigger windows. I'm so dumb. Why did I not draw bigger windows? Do do do. Now, in regards to story time, would be nice if people could come up with some fun topics. What do you want to know about me? I'm right here. I'm drawing, I'm chatting, I'm sharing of myself. What have you always wanted to know about the legend? Let's see. I'm still not sure if it's worth it to draw all of this. I'm not sure if this is a mistake. I might get rid of all of these windows. I'm just drawing this as a test to see what this looks like. But I am going to show you something fun. A cool way of drawing a window reflection here in GIMP. If this looks good, then that might be what convinces me to keep this window. So check it. What I'm going to do here. What got me into Polandball? There was a thread in Ask Reddit No, not in Ask Reddit. That came later. But there was a post somewhere on Reddit talking about like, hey, what are some small underappreciated communities that probably should be bigger than they are? But first, before I continue, see here, I have selected these windows. I have made a selection out of them. So now only they are selected and nothing else is selected. So now I can only affect them. If I were to draw something outside of this selection, nothing would happen. But if I draw inside the selection, it works. That's kind of cool, right? So what I can do then is that I can do like a zoop, 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 like that. And then I can fill that in like this. And we get like a sort of like lighting glare or whatever on these windows. See that? That looks cool, right? Yeah, that looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. Anyway, there was a post that that asked about small underappreciated communities, and someone name dropped Polandball. And it's like, yeah, this thing is really cool, but it's super small. Almost no one knows what it is. I went there. Back then, the subreddit had less than 5,000 subscribers. It was probably like 4,000 or something like that. That's how big the Polandball subreddit was when I discovered it. And for me, it was like a genuine love at first sight. Like, absolutely. I was like, this is amazing. I've never seen anything like this before. Just the potential for just sharing and laughing and learning. When I grew up, I drew a bunch of comics. I had a friend. We were both super into comics. I grew up reading comics. Donald Duck, Spider-Man. Comics was such a huge part of my life when I grew up. Because I was also like, you know, pretty bullied, pretty alone, didn't have a lot of friends. And comics was just something that was like a very important part of my life back then. And as you grow up, in many ways, you are sort of forced to be a grown-up. And a lot of like your adolescent hobbies or whatever, you just don't have time for it anymore. Look at me, like I have a daughter to take care of. It's like I can't just do the things that I want to do. I have to do the things that are right by her. But back then, comics was a big deal for me. It was a big part of my life. And even as I grew older, I've always tried to keep something creative going. So I was into LARPing for a while, like live action role playing. I did that. So that was like a theater thing. I played musical instruments. I played the cello. I played the bass guitar. I played piano. I've always tried to have some sort of creative endeavor going in my life because that's always been a passion of mine. I would love to work with something creative. It would be amazing if I could. But you have to be a grown-up, right? You have to, unfortunately. Good night, Bio. And you're one of the very lucky few if you get to work with a creative endeavor. So, I also had the issue of not always getting the support that I needed. I've talked to my family about this. We're like, you know, they were always looking out for me. They were worried about me going all in on something creative, like being a musician or whatever, and, you know, failing and striking out and what that would do. So they were trying to nudge me into picking a smarter and safer option, and dissuading me from even attempting to like become a musician or whatever. They're like, no, that's stupid. You're gonna fail. Don't do that. It's sad, but when you're told stuff like that from people who you love and whose opinion matters to you, then that hits hard. So I stopped with trying to do creative things. I just gave up on it. And I was like, all right, let's do something sensible and smart then. Let's become a lawyer. That's smart. Which, you know, it is. So I was in law school when I found Polandball. And it just, you know, everything flashed back of just like, oh shit. That's it. I remember now. I love this. I love creative endeavors. I love just spending all of my energy on creating something fun. That's something that's for everyone. So I kind of got hooked immediately of just reading Polandball comics. At first not making them, but at least reading them and just getting involved in the community, becoming a frequent commenter. Then it was Java Code and the Reasonable Camel, who were back then the two active moderators. They decided that what Polandball really needed to drive up engagement was to have monthly contests on various topics. And I entered the very first monthly contest. It was the first Polandball comic I ever drew. Was for the first monthly contest, and I won it. And back then, everyone could apply to be in the contest, even if they weren't approved submitters. So I wasn't even an approved submitter back then. And that's how I became an approved submitter, by winning the first contest. So I never had to go through the approval system that we force everyone else to go through. And sort of the rest is history. Never look back. And now it's like the subreddit is like more than 10 years old, which is crazy to think of the fact that like Polandball has been a part of my life for like a quarter of my entire life. Has been enveloped in just country balls. Man, I just realized that I have not saved this comic a single time so far. I should probably save. Okay. Okay, I've saved. This is the first time I've saved in a couple of hours now. Oof. DBCB, you don't understand a single word I'm saying. Is it because I'm talking nonsense, or is it because my Swedish accent is too hard to understand? Which one is it? But anyway, long story short, I found it when it was very small. I fell in love with it. I've done what I can over the course of many years to try to help grow it. and build it into what it is today, which is like a subreddit that has almost 700,000 subscribers and has become a global phenomenon. And I like to think that I am at least partially responsible for the success of the medium itself. Not just the subreddit, but just Polandball becoming the global phenomenon that it is today. I'd like to think that I had a hand in that. And if I hadn't been there, it wouldn't have become this big thing that it is today. Maybe that's hubris, but I'd like to think so. What are my thoughts about the No ID animation clones? Well, my biggest thought on them is that I really, really dislike that they have hands on their country balls. Because, you know, that colors, right? It moves over into our sphere as well. We have so many people sending in approval requests with Polandball comics where they use those like Mr. Spherical hands. And we just tell them like, nope, Polandball, country balls don't have hands. And they were like, what do you mean they don't have hands? I've seen so many comics where they have hands. So if it didn't sort of like, you know, leak and spread over into the rest of the internet, then that would have been fine. It becomes sort of a hassle for us to deal with. Other than that, it's like, I don't know. I'm happy to see any sort of like just example of Polandball doing well. And being popular, and people liking it. Whether it's Mr. Spherical or anywhere else. It's fine with me, I don't care. The only exception I have to that is Drew Durnell. Because Drew Durnell has never made anything of his own in his entire fucking life. All he does is just steal shit from other people, react to it, and make a quick buck out of it. Never giving a dime to anyone else. I don't respect that. But that's not exactly a hot take around these parts. Ah. Do I need to spend all of this time drawing this apocalyptic wasteland? Just some stupid mirrors? I don't know. But I'm doing it. I don't even know how long I've been streaming for at this point. I can tell that my voice is getting a bit hoarse. So it must have been a while. Almost done. I have to draw another house that looks like this. It looks weird if it's just a single one. So that sucks. At least I'm gonna draw the windows a bit bigger so I don't have to draw as many. Do 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 do. Yeah, something like that is fine. Ah. Bum 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 and bump. All right. Now, let's do some nice rays of sunshine and then be done with this panel. It's the final thing left to do. So we're gonna do this one like so. That's pretty good. Oh, something's not connecting somewhere. All right, here. That makes sense. Too yellow. What are mini chatters? I don't know what that is. That's better. I think. No, there's something off about this. Doesn't line up with where the sun is coming from. Now I have to redo that. Might just skip it. Might just be too difficult with what I had in mind. Yeah, I'm gonna skip it. I'm gonna be done with this panel without doing those lighting effects. Let's skip it. We're merging everything down. There we go. And then we're gonna cut everything out. All this time spent to make 2 panels. Paste that in as a new layer. Call that panel 2.
Premium is ad-free YouTube and background play. Try 1 month free of charge.
Shut up. Ah. And look at that. We have made 2 comic panels. Oh. Lines up pretty well with the storyboard too. You gotta say. Gotta say. Now, this is a pretty good opportunity to reset my brain a little bit. I like to do that between panels to just sort of like take a breath, so you don't exhaust yourself too much when you're drawing these. Oh, don't worry about it, Tiger Ball. I'm happy if people are staying and listening to the stream and chatting with me, but you absolutely don't have to stay longer than you need to or want to. So goodbye. Thank you for sticking around. Now, I am going to go to the toilet again, because believe it or not, it's actually super hot here in Stockholm. We're having quite the summer already. It's unusually hot for this time of year. So I'm just chugging down liquid to get through the day. And also just to spare my voice a bit, because you can hear, I said it before, you can hear that I'm getting a bit hoarse. So I gotta go drink some more water. I'm gonna go do a little tinkle, which means that it's gonna be round 2 of Chair stream. Chair is gonna be doing some heavy lifting while I'm gone. So give it up for Chair. A round of applause for Chair. And I will see you guys again in a couple of minutes. Alright, guys, I want to know what happened during Chair stream. What did I miss? Now, we're gonna start making the third panel. How about you guys hit me up with some fun questions for me to answer. Give me something tough. Hit me with some hard questions. Hit me with some stuff that you think I won't want to answer. And that could be fun. That could be fun, people. My opinion on Norway is not a particularly hard question. Norway is all right with me. It's the good neighbor. My favorite music album. Okay. Okay. I'll answer that question. I would say that the band that has been the most formative in developing my musical tastes is a band called Dredge. D-R-E-D-G. It is a post-rock band. A sort of like a bit experimental thing. And why can't I draw? Oh, it's because I have a selection. Here we go. And I define my musical tastes as sort of like, here's the tastes I had before I found Dredge. Here's the tastes that I have after I found Dredge. Because they sort of like just, you know, shifted everything around in what I like and don't like. And it's a different era, right? Because nowadays, with streaming services and just the way music is made, nowadays, you don't really make albums the same way that you did before. Now you focus more on doing like individual songs. What's up here? Wait. Oh, there it is. Oh my god. Oh, I'm an idiot. Excuse me, people. I'm doing some dumbos here. There we go. So, back to my train of thought. And, there is such a thing. It's sort of like a lost art, which is a concept album. A concept album is... It's an album comprised of like different songs, all individual, unique, distinct songs, but the album is meant to be listened to in a single sitting. You're meant to just sit down and listen to the entire album from start to finish, and it's one of those cases where the whole is more than the sum of its parts. Sort of like you go on a musical journey or whatnot. And Dredge is one of those bands that makes concept albums. In particular, 2 of their albums are such concept albums. And it is a lost art. It's not really the way people make music anymore, because that's not how people listen to music anymore. It's not how music is enjoyed. So you don't see that all that often. But if you like the idea and want to check that out, then it's an album called El Cielo by Dredge. I'll type that out in chat. It's post-rock, which is a genre that never really took off and never really became a thing. And Dredge is one of the best post-rock bands. And that album is just gorgeous. But that's the thing. Yeah, King Gizzard also has concept albums. They do that. That's cool. But that's the thing. If you're gonna give this album a listen, then that's the way you're supposed to listen to it. You're supposed to like just sit back in your couch, put on your headphones or whatever, don't do anything else, just sit down and just listen to music for an hour. Just listen to the album from start to finish, because that's how it's meant to be enjoyed. They have another album called The Pariah, The Parrot, The Delusion, which is possibly even better. I might like that album better than El Cielo. It's just that El Cielo came earlier, and it's the album that sort of defined my musical taste for the next 20 years to come. I'm just gonna type it out, the other one as well. There. So, check those out. The problem with Dredge is that I used to call them the band that have never put out a bad song ever. Like all of their songs are bangers from start to finish, all of it. And then they dropped one album that was a complete fucking stinker. Everyone hates it. The band themselves acknowledged that it's like bad. It's like really, really bad. And then after that, the band went on an indefinite hiatus. And they haven't put out any new songs in like 10 years. Back in 2019, they said that they had sort of like gotten back together and were working on new songs again. But so far, they have not yet put out anything new. They did say that the pandemic sort of like took their plans of a comeback and put it at like a screeching halt. So things... there was a wrench that got thrown into the plans. But unfortunately, they're still not back, and they still haven't released anything new. So, their last album that they put out, it's called Chuckles and Mr. Squeezy. Ignore that one. Pretend like that album doesn't exist, because it is garbage. They took in like a different producer, didn't understand anything about their sound, and it's awful. It's like unlistenable. It's that bad. But all of their other stuff, all of their other albums, all of their other songs are great. Just pretend like their final album does not exist. That's it. What makes them so good? It's first of all, they're all very talented musicians, but it's the layerings of small little details. I listen to those albums, and like still to this day, I pick up on new little nuances of things of like, oh, I never noticed this before. There's always something new, and it's beautiful. Their music is beautiful. Yeah, so check them out. I have not seen the British TV series Horrid Henry, so I have no opinion about it. Let's see if there's some other questions that I have missed. Would you rather winter or summer? I tend to overheat very quickly. So winter is usually more tolerable for me. I don't die as quickly in the winter as I do in the summer. But Stockholm in the high summer is one of the most beautiful and gorgeous places that exists in the world. So I love Swedish summer as well. Now, what am I scared of? Spiders. I fucking hate spiders. I guess that's a easy question. What would I do if I got stuck in the desert? I would die. I just said that I overheat very, very easily. I don't think I could handle a desert. Tea or coffee? Coffee. Coffee, and I drink it black. No milk, no sugar. Just good old black coffee, the way it's meant to be enjoyed. Am I currently reading a book? Yes, I am. I'm reading Dune. By Frank Herbert, because I saw the first movie and I liked it, but I thought that something got lost in the translation. The thing is, like, Denis Villeneuve is one of my favorite directors, and Blade Runner, it might be my favorite movie of all time. The original Blade Runner movie from the 80s. I fucking love Blade Runner. Blade Runner is the best movie ever made, right? So when I heard that they were making like a sequel to Blade Runner, my initial reaction to that was that I didn't like it. I was like, why are you making a sequel to Blade Runner? This movie is perfect. This movie does not need a sequel. All you can do is ruin it. Why are you trying to improve on perfection? So I was a bit apprehensive about the whole thing. And I was like, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it because it's my favorite movie and I'm afraid that it's going to mess with that. So I stayed away from it. I didn't want to hear anything about production. I didn't want to hear, like, whatever. And I was like, this can't end well. I'm going to pretend like it doesn't exist. And everything's going to be fine. And then it came out. And the initial reviews were like, oh shit, this movie is amazing. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, no, this movie is amazing. I'm like, that can't be true. That doesn't adhere to my bias and what I believe. It can't be. It can't be. Because you only... This has to be some sort of, like, Hollywood cash grab. Right? But everyone was saying it was fantastic. So I was like, okay. I guess I'm gonna have to go and see this then. I had sworn it off. I was like, I'm not gonna see this. It's gonna fuck with my memory of my favorite movie and whatever. It's like, it can't be good. Nope. But then I was like, okay, fine. I'll go see the damn Blade Runner 2049. I'll go see it. And I went into the theater. I saw the movie. I went out of the theater. And I thought to myself, this is better. This is better than the original. This is actually better. Like, this is amazing. Holy shit, this movie is a goddamn masterpiece. Crazy. And that's Denis Villeneuve. That movie is 3.5 hours long. And I love it. Because we are in the... fuck, this should have been its own layer. We are in the... or at least then we were in the Marvel era. Right? Of... Like, I think that movie came out the same year as Avengers 2. And I fucking hate Avengers 2. It's such a shitty movie. Age of Ultron. It is the worst movie when it comes to the whole Marvel way of making movies, which is that everything is going at a breakneck pace. Every character gets like 1 second of screen time. And you just jump from plot point to plot point. Nothing gets the time to breathe. It's just exhausting to watch it. And then Blade Runner came out. And you have like scenes of... That's like 15 minutes long where no one is talking. Something big happens in the story. And then, you know, you're allowed to take it in. You're allowed to sort of process it and like, and just think about it and reflect on it until the next thing happens. And you don't get to do that in Marvel movies. No, it's like, oh shit, here's Captain America for 15 seconds. Oh, now we gotta throw in this character. Here, you get 15 seconds. Say something witty. Oh shit. Next scene, quick, this character, get in. You get your 15 seconds here. Like, that's what it felt like to watch Age of Ultron, and I fucking hated it. But Denis Villeneuve makes long movies that are allowed to breathe. But then he made Dune. And I think something must have gotten lost in translation from the books. Because I think he went overboard with his philosophy of just letting things breathe. Because it was like basically no dialogue in the entire movie. No one said anything. Most of the movie did not have any dialogue. And it felt so weird and strange and excessive how he did that. Where I'm like, I don't think this is accurate. I think if I were to read the books, the Dune books, I think they would probably contain dialogue. They would probably contain characters talking to each other. Which they did! To my surprise. To everyone's surprise. The characters in Dune actually do have characters and dialogue. So I was like, alright. This is pretty good. I'm gonna read this. And I think I'm at this point where I think that, like, maybe the Dune movies are actually for people who have read the books. Maybe I should read these books before I continue to watch these movies, because I might enjoy the movies more if I have that context. So that's why I'm reading Dune right now. I do have pets. I have 2 cats. They're ragdolls. They're big, and they're white, and they're fluffy. And let's see if I can find... I don't want to wake them up because they're sleeping. But I'll see if I can find some fun pictures of them on my computer, so that I can show you my cats. Because they're cute, and they're fluffy, and they're cute. And I'm gonna show you my cute fluffy cats. Yeah. Here's one. Ah, look at him, he's so fluffy. Oh, that's a fluffy kitty. And here's the other one. Oh, he's also fluffy. Oh, they're both very fluffy. Yeah. White ragdolls. Very cute. Very fluffy. Those are my cats. Now let's see. Thank you, Sfixen. You are correct. This is a DickRhino stream. This is not a Gate Nerd stream. I am not Gate Nerd. Do I write stories in your free time? No, I don't. I've never actually been much of a writer. So that hasn't been a creative avenue I've explored all that much. Unless you count writing comics. Okay. Time to draw some rays of sunshine. We gotta go back to what's important here, people. Which is drawing stuff. After all, this is a drawing stream. Don't think I've forgotten. Yeah. Alright, so far people, I think that you have only been lobbing me softball questions. I was expecting some hard questions. I was expecting some controversial stuff. Stuff that I would be scared to answer. But that has not happened. Ugh. I fucked up again. I drew this on the wrong layer. I hate that I have to cut this out and paste it in because I have to select all of this stuff, which is gonna take forever the way that I did it. Ah. My opinion on South Park is that South Park is pretty good. I started watching South Park back when it was brand new, like season 1. I haven't watched it in a long time, but that's mostly a case of just not having all the as much time as I want to just do whatever. But I like it. Worst thing I did as a kid. Oh man. I don't know. I did worse stuff as an adult than I ever did as a kid. So I don't know. Okay, Anvita, thank you for hanging out with me. Thoughts on the current controversy with the Sweden Democrats' secret social media accounts and stuff? Well, I'll say this much. I don't think anyone is surprised that they had like troll farms that they were running. For people who don't know, that was a thing where our far right party was caught red-handed by journalists who were working undercover and shown to be running online troll farms for shaping public discourse. And making it seem like they had more online support than they actually have. And anyone who has spent any sort of time on like, for example, the Swedish subreddits will probably say that, like, yeah, that's pretty unsurprising that was going on. Because you could tell that, like, this doesn't feel like genuine. It was very much a case of, like, something is off when you, like, immediately get downvoted to oblivion for not agreeing to the most extremist racist takes out there. Now, obviously, they suffer a bit from the same, they are insulated from consequences in much the same way as, for example, Donald Trump is. That if you're a Trump supporter at this point, even after everything's been said and done, if you are still a Trump supporter at this point, then it does not matter what anyone says or does. You have already gone all in. You are ride or die. You are going to remain a Trump supporter. It's probably a pretty uncontroversial take, but that's what it is. When he said that he can shoot someone in broad daylight and it wouldn't lose him voters, that was probably a pretty accurate assessment. So that's probably the same thing for the Sweden Democrats as well. Or so we thought. But actually, it seems like this has been bad for them in their opinion polls. And people are, in fact, a bit upset about these revelations. And they have taken a bit of a hit in their popularity because of it. Which is probably something that people weren't expecting. Because we're used at this point to just being disappointed in reality. So we'll see. We'll see what sort of effect it has. Yes, I have noticed that the shorts have been pretty good for the channel in terms of getting new subscribers. And I think that's cool. So, you know, we're putting out shorts because they are helpful for the channel. That being said, shorts are not always necessarily a good thing. Because some of the people who enjoy shorts, they are the TikTok brain rot people, if you want to refer to them as such. And they might not be interested in any of the other stuff that a channel is doing. So some of those shorts views, while they're good, they're getting us a lot of subscribers, it might not translate. It might not translate. And some of those, or maybe even a lot of those views that we get from shorts and subscribers from shorts aren't actually going to be looking at anything else that we post that isn't a short, which is the risk. In which case it can even be harmful for a channel. Because there's one thing that a YouTube channel does not want to have. That a YouTube channel really does not want to have. Because it hurts it in the algorithm. And that is dead subs. Having people who are subscribed to your channel but don't watch your content. That can be directly harmful. Because if you put out a video and the YouTube algorithm shows it to all of your subscribers, but only very few of them actually watch it, what that tells the YouTube algorithm is that that's a bad video. And then it doesn't promote it to other people. That's how it works. Which makes sense, right? So that's why anyone who has like a YouTube channel, why I'm telling you, never engage in those sort of like sub for sub, comment for comment communities. Where it's like, oh, if I sub to your channel, then you're gonna sub to my channel, and I will artificially inflate my subscriber count. And then people will come to my channel and see that I have a lot of subscribers, and they're gonna think this is a good channel, and they're also gonna subscribe to it. Yeah, sure. In a way, some of that might work on a psychological level, because the bandwagon effect is a real thing. If people see that something has a lot of fans, they're going to assume that it's good. And they're more likely to also become a fan of it. Yeah, look it up, people. The bandwagon effect. It's a real thing. It exists. But in terms of the YouTube algorithm, and in terms of getting YouTube to actually promote your content, which is what you want. You want, when you put out a video, you want YouTube to show that video to people who are not subscribed to your channel. You want YouTube to show it to as many people as possible. And then it's a fucking problem if you have a bunch of subscribers who don't click on your videos. That's really, really bad. Because that is going to make YouTube assume that this is a bad video. This is a bad video and I should not recommend it to other people. Because YouTube doesn't care about, like... It only cares about getting views. That's all it cares about. So if you can show that your stuff is getting views, that's... YouTube is like, say no more, fam. Say no more. This is apparently good, and I'm gonna recommend it to people. So, that's, to my point, can be a problem if you try to sort of like build your community around shorts. It can be a problem. If you think that your idea is just that, oh, these shorts are going to pull people. These shorts are going to attract people to the channel, and then they are going to watch everything else that's on the channel. That might not be what ends up happening. Just so you're aware of that. And it can hurt you. It can hurt you. That being said, I don't think that's going to be a problem for us. Because in the case of us, I actually do think that it is going to translate. I think it's pretty universal, this Polandball, country ball stuff. I think the people that watch Polandball shorts are probably also pretty likely to watch longer Polandball videos as well. Hi, Conrad. Good to see you. We've been going at it for quite some time here. Do. Hello, Goofy account number 1. I mean, it started out better. We've had like I think we had peak like 29 concurrent viewers. That being said, I've been going at it for a long time, and we're not streaming during the peak hours. There are people who have been wanting a European stream, like a stream during European hours, which is why I wanted to oblige them with that. But it's gonna be true though that there's gonna be more people watching if you stream like 8 hours from now, right? When it's like peak American hours. But we're providing a service here. We're giving a stream to people who live in different time zones so that they can also enjoy our content as it's happening. I'm sorry, Stop Motion. I know you've been trying to say that for a while, and I'm sorry that I haven't been reacting to it. Mini Chatters has to do with stream avatars. Cola has been trying to set it up for like 15 streams. I'm pretty sure you need to do something to activate it. All right, I will look into that. I will look into that and see if that's something that we should be doing or not. We'll see. But hey, it's cool. I don't care if it's 30 people. I don't care if it's 13. It's just fun to have some people watching. And it's a pleasure. I'm enjoying this. And look at all of this progress. Look at all of this progress. We've already drawn 2 panels. Almost done with a 3rd. It's obviously like the things Kolai does when he sort of reacts to stream chat and draws things that people want him to draw. That's more engaging in a way. Which is something that like more people stick around for. What I'm doing here, where I'm not taking any requests. I'm just like drawing a comic that I wanted to draw and that I was gonna draw. Might not be as interesting for people. I don't know. Who knows? Could I look at your comic? I could. I'm not sure if I'm gonna show it on stream, maybe. Let's see. Here. You have a comic that you've made on the Discord. Alright. All right, fair. We can actually take a look at this on stream. Because it's pretty funny. Now, the issue here, obviously, is that you're using a bowling ball, which normally is not allowed in... we only did that for April Fools, where we had corporation balls. But other than that, the hard rule is that, you know, comics are countries. I mean, country balls. Country balls are countries. So a bowling ball normally would not fly. I get this. But if we ignore that and just look at the comic itself, it's Poland, old friend. Could you build a spaceship for me? I will get you into space. Poland builds it. 9 years later, time for Polska to into history, and it's made of cardboard. And like, it's funny. It's a funny premise. I like the gist of it. I would do some things a bit different with the narrative, because there are some things that feel a bit clunky narratively, if that makes sense. Okay? The first one is the obvious question. If Poland can just build the spaceship himself, then what does he need Boeing for? That sort of like doesn't track. It would be more fun with all of the current controversies around Boeing that it would actually be Boeing building the spaceship that then turns out to be made of cardboard, right? Because their planes have been like going down the shitter and like having accidents and stuff. So Poland having faith in Boeing being the one who takes Poland into space, and then at the actual launch day it turns out to that the rocket is made from cardboard. That would be funnier if it was Boeing who made the rocket instead of Poland. Does that make sense? Like, does that track my line of thinking? But I think you have a funny premise. The issue obviously is that like you wouldn't be able to post this in the Polandball subreddit because it's a corporation ball, and that was just something we did for April Fools. But I do think that the narrative, the premise, it has potential. Like this, it's sort of funny as it is, but you could make it more funny if you just switched around the narrative a little bit. That's my review. I hope you enjoy it. Now, let's see. What else might I have missed? How long with this will this take? Well, probably not a crazy amount of time, because if you look at my storyboard, this is going to be a 6-panel comic, and the last 3 panels are just going to be sorta copy pasted. So the first 3 panels are the ones that are going to take time. And we're almost done. I mean, we've made good progress. So once I'm done with panel 3, panel 4, 5, and 6 are actually pretty straightforward and pretty easy to make. But as you can see, like this is my process. This is about how long it takes. We've currently been streaming for 3.5 hours, which translates into 2.5 comic panels. And yeah, that's about it. If I draw like a 5 or 6 panel comic, that's typically around 8 hours of work. So, for people asking like, oh, how do you do it? How do you make comics look so neat and fancy and whatever? That's the answer, people. Time. It's time. It takes a long fucking time to draw comics that look nice. And I'm not even going crazy on this one. Okay? If you zoom in here, you see like errant pixels here and there. See? There's an errant pixel. There's an errant pixel. There's pixels where there should not be pixels. Do you see that? And then you compare it with, for example, let's pull up the one I made about rulering. Let's see. What was that called? I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna show you. Because that's how nutty I actually get when I draw these comics. I just gotta find it. Can't remember what I called it. Russian rulers. Russian rulers. Here. So I did this. My latest like real high effort comic. If you look at this, there is not an errant goddamn pixel anywhere on this entire comic. There's not even any sort of like jagged edges to anything because I smoothen everything out. So like sometimes I go real goddamn crazy. I think the end has to be the craziest example of that. I spent a year. I spent an entire year working on that comic. Look at this. This is the one I turned into an animation on the channel. It's, you know, the comic I'm most proud of because I spent an entire year working on it. See this? This is before I used GIMP. I drew this in MS Paint. It took a while. It took a while to draw this in MS Paint. But same thing here. It's like I go in and I work over it like pixel for pixel for pixel. And yeah. Worked on it off and on for a year. If you haven't seen the animation, you should go to our YouTube channel and find it. It's called The End. I'm very happy about how the animation came out as well for that one. Yeah, no, I did that one in MS Paint. I've only been working it in GIMP for like 2 years. Before that, I did all of my stuff in MS Paint. All of it. I think actually if you go to my Twitch channel, you can find some very old archives of art streams that I made like 6 or 7 or 8 years ago. And you can see that I'm in there working on my comics in MS Paint. So I'm not bullshitting you guys. That is how I do it. Now, let's delete that. Good. All right, let's keep at it. I'm gonna just check to see my phone. See if my wife said anything about when she's gonna come back home. No, she has not. She took my daughter to the zoo. So. No idea when they're gonna come back. When they do come back, that's probably when I'm gonna stop streaming. I don't really have a reason to stop until they get back. So let's keep going. Let's keep at it. Up and atom. Now, we're gonna sample some colors here. Boop. 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 Okay. So, who wants some more story time with DickRhino? Let me know. What do you want me to talk about? Hey chat! What do you want to talk about? Hmm? You don't want to talk about just cave entrances, do you? We are having a ball party. We're having a baller party. What wine do I have? It is a white wine, a Chardonnay. I said this at the beginning of the stream, or at least was a while ago, that I'm currently on a weight loss journey. Because I have been packing on a lot of weight, like since the pandemic and forward. Towards like I hit a wall in February where I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. I gotta do something now. I can't live like this. So I have done like a huge weight loss thing before, which was like a keto diet, which works very well for me. So I'm doing that again. Currently, I have dropped about 11 kilos since February. I have about 15 more kilos to go. My plan was to drop 26 kilos. So, if you're on a keto diet, it's very simple. You stop eating carbs. That's it. You stop eating carbs. And instead, you increase your intake of fat and protein. You're not supposed to starve. You're not supposed to go hungry. So, that's what I'm doing. Which means I can't have beer, which is sad because I love beer, but I can't have beer. But it works. It's called keto because your body enters a phase called ketosis where it just starts burning fat. Like, it actually works. It's some people can do it for a while, some people can't, because the issue with keto is, for most people, is that it gets too boring. It gets too monotone. You just eat the same things every day. You eat a lot of vegetables, you eat a lot of fatty meats, pork, sausages, salmon. But it's nice, like, it's fine. You can eat like a steak with béarnaise sauce, and that's compliant with your diet. You can eat bacon and eggs, right? So you never have to feel like you're starving yourself. You're supposed to eat until you feel full. It's just you eat very specific things and you just don't eat any carbs at all. So no sugar, no potatoes, no rice, no pasta, no bread. Pasta is the worst one. I love pasta, and it genuinely sucks. It really sucks that I'm not allowed to eat pasta. I can live without rice. I can live without bread. I love bread as well, but I can live without it. I don't have to eat potatoes. I don't have to eat bread. I don't have to eat rice. It really sucks that I can't eat pasta. But the same thing goes for alcohol. Some things have a lot of carbs, some things don't. Beer has a lot of carbs. Wine does not. So I can drink wine, I can drink whiskey, I can drink tequila. But I can't drink beer and I can't drink any sweet spirits. It's a bit sad. Yeah, I know rice is great. I know. And it's like, I love Indian food. I love Thai food. So like, not being able to eat rice sucks too. But that's it. You just gotta do it. The thing is, it works. Doing a keto diet. That's the thing. It works. If you do keto, you will lose weight. Period. It fucking works. It's just very monotonous. You eat the same fucking thing every day. So if you can do that, then absolutely try your hand at a keto diet. You will lose weight. You will. Just look it up. Look up what you're allowed to eat and what you're not allowed to eat. Basically, every day for breakfast, I eat like eggs, avocados, Turkish yogurt. For lunch, good old classic German dish of like sausages and sauerkraut. Yeah, sure, I'll eat that. Since you can't eat sugar and sweet stuff, you sort of like, you find other stuff to obsess about. I'm really into hot sauces now because that's something that's compliant, right? Most hot sauces are very low in carbs. So if you can't eat carbs, you just start eating other things as well that you are allowed to eat. And since you are allowed to eat hot sauces, there's like, okay, I guess I'm just a spice head now. I'm just gonna get really fucking into this. You saw my video where I ate a Carolina Reaper on stream, which obviously was not particularly fun. But, you know. I'm used to that now. I'd probably have an easier time doing it now because I've gotten really into super spicy food. Just to make things less bland and boring and monotonous. Ah. Do you remember Burkpocalypse and the moment you cancelled it? Ah, I do. I haven't thought about that in forever. So people, what you might not know. How do you know about the Burkpocalypse? Apple Eater, how long have you been subscribed to the subreddit? That was many years ago. I didn't even know that had like sort of stuck around in people's heads as like part of like the discourse or whatever. Burkpocalypse was a serial that some guy made of comics that just like had a running narrative. And end of the world, like all sort of countries fighting against each other. And I've talked before about, in the stream, I've talked about like things that get rejected from approval requests. And a big one is sort of like comics that need an explanation. Where it's like you can't understand the comic just by reading the comic. You need the accompanying glossary in the comment section, and that's something we frown upon. Another thing we frown upon is when comics stop being about countries and they stop being about geopolitics or culture or current events or whatever. And when you instead just make some sort of wacky gag cartoon where you give countries personalities that really have nothing to do with what they're like in real life, and they just serve some sort of meta narrative where really what you want to do is you want to be some sort of webcomic artist, but you can't get an audience for it, so you just use country balls as stand-ins for whatever characters you had in mind, right? I'm gonna go on a meta tangent here, okay? It's like the Witcher TV series, where the showrunners hadn't actually read the books and thought that they were smarter than the original author and wanted to tell their own stories, but they're such hacks that they can't get anyone to read their own stories. So what they do is they take an existing IP and then they just cram their own whatever into it. And then you have Henry Cavill bashing his head against the wall, trying to like make people respect the source material, right? That's sort of the same thing when you have Polandball comics where people just want to tell their own sort of meta-narrative and it's not even about countries anymore. And that's what happened with the Burkpocalypse, where it started out well enough as a sort of meta thing about like end of the world. But then it just kept going. It was a serial in parts, and just post after post after post. And people eat that shit up because it appeals to the lowest common denominator. And just because something's popular doesn't mean that it's good. I'm sorry, but yeah, I know, on some objective level, people are gonna be like, what do you mean? If it's popular, that objectively means that it is good. But no, because we are snobby elitists in this subreddit, okay? We are snobby elitists. And Burkpocalypse kept going. And kept going. And kept going for part after part after part, and for every part it became less and less about countries, and after a while it had nothing to do with countries anymore. And we all in the mod team just got fucking fed up with it. And we told the guy, bruh, stop making this. And he got really pissed about it. And I can't remember how it ended. I can't remember if he got banned or if maybe we just made a... Did we make a mod post about it? Where we were like just, okay, it ends here. No more Burkpocalypse. I don't know. I don't remember. But that was my rant, okay? About like just what we want from people. Keep Polandball comics about countries. If they stop being about countries, then this is something we feel strongly about. The day that Polandball comics stop being about countries is the day that Polandball comics stop having global appeal. It's when it becomes navel-gazing. When the only people who are gonna enjoy it are people who are already fans of it, but we're never gonna attract new fans to the medium. If it's all in the jokes. If it's all inside jokes. And if it's all just references to old Polandball comics. Right, he did make Borkball in response so that he could continue making his Burkpocalypse. You were right, I'd forgotten about Borkball. Oh my god, it's still active. People still make posts there. There was a new post in that subreddit a day ago. But then, the second oldest newest posted from 2 months and then from 7 months. Okay, you know, it's pretty dead. It's pretty dead. It's gotten 11 posts in the past 2 years. That's not a whole lot. You're right. And that was his reaction. Here's a subreddit where you can post stuff that has been banned from our Polandball. I had forgotten about that completely. Oh my god. Oh my god. I had forgotten about that. Thank you for reminding me about that. That is a piece of Polandball history. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. Manny to the Max donated to the stream again. That's radical. Thank you, Manny. You had another question you want answered. What are my top 5 Polandball comics? I have answered this one very recently. In the latest mod AMA, I think.
Listen, you pay monthly fees for a streaming app and a music app.
So,
And a fitness app.
I'm gonna be able to pull this up very quickly. Let's see. I'm gonna find that mod AMA. Yeah, 5 months ago. We are the mods. Ask us anything. Yes. Perfect. They asked about our favorite comics and I even pulled up my top 5. I will talk about these. Thank you for this. Wonderful question. Number 1. Russian Horse. By Event. Event is a comic artist from Finland. He doesn't make comics anymore. Which is a bit sad. Because he was the best. I love all of his comics. Okay, first one. America fell for trap. Soon he bomb. No. Soon he mini horse. What? Why? And like, for those of you who don't know, this is about Matryoshka dolls. You know, the Russian dolls that have like a smaller doll inside of the doll and a smaller doll inside of the doll, and there's a smaller doll inside of the doll. I fucking love this comic. And here's the thing about Event. A lot of his stuff sort of doesn't really click with a broader audience. This one does. This one was super popular. But a lot of his stuff is very sort of like nonsensical and sort of wacky. And I describe him like Polandball's version of Norm Macdonald, where Norm Macdonald used to be described as your favorite comedian's favorite comedian. Other comedians just love Norm Macdonald, and they think he's so funny because of the way he just he can make other comedians laugh with his stuff. And Event is like that too. I describe him as your favorite Polandball artist's favorite Polandball artist. That is absolutely the case for him. Take most people who actually make Polandball comics and ask them who their favorite artist is, and a surprising amount of them are gonna answer Event. His stuff is just so fucking funny. And if you want to be a Polandball comic artist yourself, and you want like inspiration for like how to write comics and how to like write comedic delivery and pacing and just like sort of stuff that's genuinely funny, there's no one better to look at than Event as inspiration. EVENTT here. I'll type it in chat. That's his username. Look up all of his comics. God damn, they're so much fun. That's my number one. That's my favorite Polandball comic of all time. Okay. Next up. Next up is Danjero Weapons by Yadar. Yadar is from Mexico. He was like me. He took like a huge fucking hiatus. Several years where he didn't make any Polandball comics. But then he recently came back and like started making stuff again. His stuff is also amazing. So this one. I'm not gonna read this one out loud because I actually have in one of my reaction reaction videos on YouTube. I've actually already read this comic out loud, and I'm not gonna kill my voice, so I'm not gonna read it out again. I'm just gonna comment on Italy being an idiot in World War II, having a pasta strainer for a hat, and his big idea for the secret weapon is the pasta cannone, which is just hilarious. And the visual of the pasta cannone is fantastic. And everything about this comic is like super fun. That's on my list. Then we have Britannia and the Rulers by Java Code. Java Code is the heart and soul of the subreddit. The guy working behind the scenes on it. Just tinkering away at all of the code, all of the events, all of our flare system, everything. The entire structure of the subreddit was made by Java Code. He passed away in 2019. Very sad. He was a dear friend, and it's one of the reasons why I went on a hiatus from Polandball for like 4 or 5 years. Because when Java Code died, for a long time, Polandball just stopped being fun for me. I stopped enjoying it. And it took me like 4 years before I could come back. And yeah. Yeah, I know about the swastikas. I know. Hopefully it's fine. I'm answering the question anyway. I zoomed past it as quickly as I could. But yeah, Java Code made his Britannia and the Rulers comic about the UK using his technique of rulering to divide up countries. Which is a nice spin on, you know, Britannia rules the waves. Which is hilarious. And it was one of the reasons why I made my follow-up comic, Russia and the Rulers. Russia and the Rulers is an homage to Java Code's Britannia and the Rulers. Another one is by Taong Kalie, who is a Filipino artist, who's like probably my favorite artist. Everything about his art style is perfect. I think Taong makes, like, if you want inspiration for like what is a Polandball comic supposed to look like art-wise, I would say look at his comics. It's as close to like my perfect idea in my head of what the art style of Polandball is supposed to be. It just looks fantastic. And finally, we have Germany on Steroids, which is about Switzerland. I just think this is made by Selenocysteine. He is probably most known for being the guy who wrote Hinadira's most famous comic about God, what was what was the name? It's one of the most famous comics of all time. The fuck's it called? The Greatest Enemy. The Greatest Enemy was drawn by Hinadira, but it was Selenocysteine who wrote the script for it. And he makes his own comics as well. He just doesn't draw the same high art that Hinadira does. And his stuff is also super funny. So he made this comic, which I think is sort of like one of his best, about how Switzerland is Germany on steroids. The comparison. So, sorry, I'm pacifism. Only thing I can do is giving you humanitarian aid. Compared to Switzerland, sorry, I'm neutrality. Only thing I can do is to take care of your money. Next up. Italian meeting was supposed to be 13:00. Now it's 13:05. I am give you a written warning for this. Compared to Italian, meeting was supposed to be 13:00. Now it's 13:00:05. I am fire you for this. Fun only allowed Monday to Saturday 19 to 22. Or fun strictly verboten at all times. And finally, Hello Nachbar, I have noticed that your hedge is not trimmed proper. Please change this soon or it will shed a bad light on the neighborhood. Compared to Grüezi Nachbar, I have noticed that your hedge is not trimmed proper. Please change this immediately or I will call the police. What's funny is this happens in the US as well with fucking American homeowners associations, where if you don't mow your lawn, they will fucking call the police on you. Yeah, in the land of the free, where you have more freedom than you have in all other countries, people can actually call the police on you for not mowing your lawn. Because that's what freedom is. Aww. Guys, I have bad news. The bad news is that my wife and daughter are now on the way home. And they're gonna be home pretty soon, and I gotta do some stuff before they come home. And unfortunately, what this means is this is it. This is gonna have to be where I call off the stream. I mean, it's been 4 hours. I have been streaming for 4 hours straight. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, I'm gonna have to say. But we're not gonna finish the comic on this stream, sadly. But we made good progress. We made good progress, so this is gonna be finished. Not sure if I'm gonna finish it on another stream, or if I'm just gonna finish it offline. We'll see. I'll talk to my wife. I'll see if she can find it in her heart to allow me to stream at some other time. Because, you know, it's rough on her. Taking care of a toddler is rough. So she took the bullet for me today to just take her out of the house and spend a couple of hours outside with her. But I've had a fantastic time. Thank you all for just watching and hanging out with me. I hope I have been a good host. I hope you have had a good time having this on in the background while you do just, you know, whatever. And yeah, no, it's been fantastic. I'm really gonna try to find time to stream more often. Happy about the turnout. Happy that so many people wanted to check it out and come watch it and just spend a day with me. Super cool of all of you. Is this the longest stream the channel has had so far? That's cool. That's cool. If I can have that little feather in my cap, that's rad. All right. Thank you guys for spending this time with me, indulging me in this, and I will see you again some other time. Not necessarily for something completely different. Maybe for more of this exact same thing. And Cola has had a 5-hour stream once. Alright. I won't be able to beat that this time. But maybe next time. Cool. Alright. Thanks for watching, everyone. DickRhino signing off.